Hey TikTok, it's been 22 days since I got laid off from my tech job. Fun employment is doing well. I'm actually
Is anyone else applying to jobs and going through the exact same thing? The job posted this week, over 100 applicants.
Nowadays, having a high degree doesn't guarantee you a good job. Because today we're going to look at why so many people are struggling and complaining about this problem.
Hot take, but I believe that we're at the end of a master's degree or a second degree doing anything for anybody besides a lawyer, doctor, any of that. I have my master's degree from UNC. I graduated with 3.8 and I thought I was going to be a shoo-in for so many jobs. I have not gotten one interview since graduating in May, and I've probably applied for hundreds of jobs and my resume redone over and over again. How I make money right now is literally TikTok shop, teaching swim lessons, which I've been doing since I was 15 that you don't need a degree for, and claiming class action settlements, which if you never heard of that, it's when companies are going through lawsuits so you're able to claim money from things that you bought. Yeah, I'm relying on lawsuits to get money. I will say though, even though I'm side hustling my way through life right now, I wish I knew about claiming class action settlements sooner, because if I would have known that in college, I feel like I just missed out on hundreds of dollars of free money. Personally, I use this app called Settlemate. When I downloaded it, it had me fill out a few questions, and then I got to claim all my personalized class action settlements that I qualified for, and then I just check every day to see if there's more I could claim. But yeah, little life hack if you're in the same shoes as me, and if you are, let me know what kind of jobs you're applying to so you don't feel as alone.
A master's degree or a second degree is almost useless if you're not going into medicine, law, or other highly specialized fields. You graduate with top grades, a perfect CV, send out hundreds of applications, and still don't get a single interview. This is proof that the job market is extremely tough and it's no longer easy like it used to be.
So now that I've got my master's degree, I have to be an adult and apply for jobs. And I forgot how grueling applying for jobs is. You have to apply for so many jobs just to hear from nobody. I got my first rejection email today, so I guess I'm moving up in the world. But yeah, pretty much nobody's even responding to me. I should have an interview next week, and I'll be taking another application to another store in person next week. So I'm grinding, I'm working on it, right? But it's one of those things that you don't see any progress or results until you do. And so I'm so frustrated. It's very hard for me to even appreciate the fact that, I just got a master's degree. That's a big accomplishment. Because now the other shoe is dropping and I have to worry about rent. On top of the economy just being in the garbage right now. So I don't know if anyone can relate. I just wanted to vent for a second.
So the job market is complete trash right now, and it's trash for everyone. That includes new graduates, mid-level managers, people over 45 experiencing ageism. All of it's trash. And so many companies are just taking full advantage of this. They're dragging people through 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds of interviews and then just never getting back to them. Or if they give them an offer, they lowball them. And then if someone counter offers, they just rescind the offer, which is crazy. The little bit of good news is that in some places, specifically in Canada right now, they are making it illegal to ghost people after interviewing them. And they're trying to pass that same law in certain parts of the US. But either way, it's just really tough out there. So if you've been looking for a new job and it's been 6 months or a year, you've sent out hundreds of applications, just know that you're not alone. You're not the issue. It's just a really difficult market. So keep at it, be consistent. People are getting hired. It's just taking a lot longer than before.
The job market is really brutal. Recent graduates, mid-level employees, even older workers facing ageism. Everyone is being taken advantage of. Many go through multiple rounds of interviews and never hear back. Offers get restricted or salaries are low. The market is not easy anymore, and if you haven't experienced it, it can be shocking to you.
Is anyone else applying to jobs and going through the exact same thing? The job posted this week, over 100 applicants. Posted 5 hours ago, over 100 applicants. Okay, this is crazy. 1 hour ago, over 100 applicants. I actually feel like applying on LinkedIn and Indeed is dead. Well, it's alive. You'll just be applying against thousands of people. In 2025, I think I'm just going to be prioritizing networking
meeting people in person, making meaningful connections, and also private job boards. If you're in Toronto, the platform that I'm going to be joining is called Terra. Right now, it's just on early sign up. It's a networking app that's coming to Toronto where we're going to be able to see events in real time, and you're going to be able to match with people who actually have the same interests you have. But the part that I am the most excited for is the private job board, because I need to start applying to these jobs that are on these boards before they make it to LinkedIn. And there's thousands of applicants.
Jobs will really post a job and be like, this is a great entry-level position for a recent grad. You're like, okay, that's me. And then you'll go look at the job description. You're like, this is fire. You'll go look at the qualifications and you'll be like, oh, no, that can't be right. This says 7 years experience. A recent grad. You said entry-level position. What are you talking about? What do you mean 7 years? 7 years ago, I was 14.
Here's my spicy take of the day. I was just reading a New York Times article that came out earlier this week talking about the shut up and grind era in tech and how everybody is basically being forced to develop the AI technology that we all know the goal is for that technology to replace us so that these companies can do more layoffs and line their own pockets and make themselves, already some of the richest people in the world, even richer. And I just want to say, labor unions, is it time? I know tech had a moment a few years ago trying to unionize in order to drive towards better diversity. You know, this might be a time where it's good to remind billionaires that the hundreds of thousands of people employed in this industry also have power.
I'm applying to jobs and I got through like the bottom of the application where it's asking you like a few questions. Tell me why after filling everything out, these motherfuckers say submit a 1 to 2 minute video on why you want to work here and a time where you help the customer do whatever. The fuck? If you think I'm going to take the time to record, to plan, think, record and upload a 1 to 2 minute video, you got me fucked up. Honestly, whoever does that will just get the job. Because who the fuck is doing that? Do you think you're the only application? Do you think you're the only one I'm doing to take the time to think of an answer, record the video, and upload the video? You got me 3 ways fucked up. Oh my fucking God.
If you're looking for a job right now and you're not on LinkedIn, you have to be on LinkedIn. I'm sorry. It sucks. I know it sucks. And unfortunately, not only do you have to be on LinkedIn, but you've got to be polished. Like you've got to put a new profile picture in there and you've got to put a new back title photo. It can even be of like your home state. It can be of where you went to school. It can be of anything, but you've got to freshen that up and you've got to freshen up your title, and a little bio line would be nice. Although I would say that's less important than like making sure that all of your job titles are up to date. You've got to do it. And I know it sucks. It blows. It blows, especially when you're not a big social media person, to have another social media that you actually have to rely on to get a job to keep up with. But it's just the way it works now. And once you set up that profile, the thing that you're going to really want to do that I didn't believe in when my boyfriend first told me to do this. He went to business school and I was like, I don't want to. I'm not going to do it. And then I ended up doing it. And it did, in fact, get me every inch of opportunity I've ever received. Is start sending LinkedIn messages. You're going to start sending them. You're going to start sending between 5 and 10 every time you feel like it. Now, for me, that was like every other day, if not every day, because I was really trying to get certain jobs at certain times, right? But if you're someone who's like, that's not going to be the case, then maybe you should set a limit for yourself. Set like I'm going to try to do 2 a day. Because here's the problem. The success rate with LinkedIn messages is a little bit like the success rate in PR. You're kind of like throwing salami at a fridge, throwing spaghetti at the wall until something sticks. And so you will send 10 messages before getting half a response. And that's just the way that it goes. However, the one response that you will get will be worth it. Like the responses that you do get where they will say yes will be worth it. And what you're asking them for is a phone call. You're asking to hop on a phone call. You are not asking to connect. You're not asking directly for a referral. You're asking to hop on the phone to hear more about their role. This is because, number one, people like talking about themselves. And number two, if you send a message just that's kind of vague, people won't know what to do with it and they won't want to respond. If you send a message that says, my name is Emma, I noticed you work at this company, I really want a role similar to yours, could we hop on a phone call and chat for 15 minutes to hear, like, so I can hear more about it? Say that in less than 200 freaking words, which blows. I know it blows that LinkedIn is like that. It's worth doing the free month of LinkedIn Premium. It's honestly, it was worth it for me to pay the $40, have premium, and then you get, I think, 300 characters instead of 200 characters for the message. But that's what you're going to start doing. And that's how it's going to feel. But it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. And you're going to talk to someone who's going to help you. And truly, I think that social connections and networking are like the number one most important thing when it comes to the job hunt right now, because the freaking AI bots that are sorting through our resumes are not doing a good enough job. You want to be able to show them who you really are, and you can't do that usually, you know, at least it feels like for me. I feel like I can't do that until I get to the interview stage. And if I can't get to the interview stage by submitting my application, I've got to go a different way. And for me, that's talking to people. And for you, it's going to be talking to people too, and you're going to do it, and you're going to crush it.
The biggest group of people that are suffering the most with how terrible this job market is, I think it's the entry-level people. I think it's the people out of college, the people with between 1 to, honestly, I want to say 5 years of experience. Honestly, maybe 1 to, yeah, let's say 5, but like to be generous, but really 1 to 3. I feel like those are the people that are really suffering right now, because you pick up an application, it will say analyst. When I think analyst, I'm thinking 0 to 2 years of experience, 0 to 1 year of experience. Well, I'm seeing in the job apps 4 years of experience for an analyst. And then the salary would be like $60K. I don't, for an entry-level analyst role, like, and then you have people with years of experience, because, you know, obviously the job market is terrible, and trying to spread their nest, they're applying, trying to get into these lower level, entry level role, because some people are getting to that point where they're just desperate for a job, right? I'm not gonna lie, that was me last year. I did do a role that I was overqualified for. I did leave after a couple months, but the entry level people are suffering the most, because that role was technically entry level, but me and the girl that was hired, not only do we have masters, we had years of experience. And I really do feel like the entry level people are suffering the most. And I don't, like, it's so bad. It's so bad. And then, like, people are supposed to, especially, like, you know, I feel like it's really Gen Z, honestly, are supposed to get these jobs, get money, do all these things, and be financially literate, independent, and move out of your parents' house, do all of this stuff. With what money?
Entry-level workers are suffering the most. Jobs labeled as entry-level demand 4 to 5 years of experience, with salaries about $60K. Even people with degrees in experience are struggling to find the right job. This is the reality the Gen Z is facing right now.
This is your sign to be discouraged from applying to jobs. It is because everyone says, oh, keep being hopeful, and I totally understand this point of view. But it just really isn't that easy. I'm going to get vulnerable here for a second, but I literally graduated college a few months ago. I've applied to jobs at least every other day. You know, sometimes I have work, so I can't really apply because I have an early shift or whatever, but I apply very often to jobs. I've reached out to people on LinkedIn. I've done the whole gig. I've tried to get a job. I've applied to places in my area. I've applied to places a little bit outside where I'd have to drive like an hour, if not more. And I have gotten literally, I think in total, only 5 responses. And they were, okay, here's like a little follow-up interview that's like 10, 15 minutes, or here's like a little survey you can do, and then nothing from that again. I haven't had an interview where I'm speaking to a person in probably 2 months. And every time I have some progress in my application and I do the next step, I hear nothing back. So I'm like, I don't even know where I stand. So for everyone telling you, oh, you'll find a job, stay positive, it's really hard to stay positive. I mean, I'm extremely discouraged. So it's like, I'm not gonna lie and tell everyone on here, oh my God, keeping positive, keeping happy. Like, you can't. It's depressing as hell that you can't find a freaking job. When you have a diploma in a very good field, you have experience, you've had internships. Like, Gen Z stare, guys, I'm scared.
And just like that, we're back. Welcome to the week 57 recap of Life After Layoff, a series that started off as my journey to reemployment, but at this point, last summer I was laid off from my corporate job as a senior copywriter, and here are the stats for week 57, which is August 3rd to August 9th. Didn't feel like I did a lot this week, but according to the numbers, I submitted 7 applications, which I guess on average, 1 a day is not so bad. Truth is, I'm tired. And the options are few. And I guess it was a pretty slow week for everyone, as the number of responses or rejections that I received was 3, one of which was from Nutrafol, which I shared 2 weeks ago. I was kind of excited about applying for, but I guess not this time. Still have heard nothing from the recruiter that hit me up on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, and I do not expect to. I wish I had more to say, to be honest, but this pretty much wraps up week 57. If you're interested in following along this journey, come back next Monday where I will have a week 58 recap of Life After Layoff, where I'm going to precisely tally up exactly how many applications I've submitted thus far. I would argue that it's well over 200.
How do you know the job market is bad? When you have jobs paying minimum wage but requiring a degree. Then you apply for said jobs, and said jobs put you through 3 rounds of interviews, asking things like, well, what makes you qualified for this job? Nigga, how hard is it to flip a burger? Let's like, don't get me wrong, I understand everybody's work has some type of complexity, and everybody plays their part and does really well in the roles that they do well in. But the fact that I'm hearing people are getting turned down from McDonald's, people are getting turned down from Walmart. Like, are y'all trying to hire the Avengers? What is the qualifications here? I don't know who these jobs want, but honestly, they can have them. Well, if they find them, they can have them. Just go for it.
I've been interviewing to get a new job for the past 2 months, and I just found out yesterday that the company that I made it all the way to the 4th round, was probably in the interview process for the longest with, met literally every important person at the company, just decided to go with a different candidate. My original feelings, my first feelings were, of course, disappointment, and then embarrassment that I told all of my family and friends that a new job was on the horizon. We were almost there, just to have to completely start over from scratch. So I'm Misery, and I'm looking for company. No, I'm kidding, but I am gonna try to do certain things every single day to make myself feel better and be more aligned, and I figured I would share those with you. So basically a bunch of like books and podcasts and like docu-series, because I feel like knowledge is power and you have to create to move through. So if you like that kind of stuff, then Rex. Give me book Rex or documentary Rex so I can distract myself from the pain. Thank you.
So, having a degree is no longer a golden ticket, and the job market is tougher than ever. And if you're in this situation, remember, you're not alone, because networking and finding opportunities beyond traditional platforms is the only way to get ahead. And if you found this video helpful, hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss more real stories and practical job tips. Together, we get through this challenging together. And thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.